And away we go. Episode 1176 of the Al Galdi podcast. It is Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. We have arrived at mid-October. We now are 6 weeks into the NFL's 18-week 2025 regular season, in which each team plays 17 games. So we are a third of the way through. The Washington Commanders are 3-3 and have yet to have a winning streak. They have gone win, loss, win, loss, win. And now, yes, a loss. A 25-24 walk-off loss to the Chicago Bears at a rainy Northwest Stadium on Monday Night Football in a game in which the Commanders overcame a 13-0 second-quarter deficit but lost on a walk-off 38-yard field goal by kicker Jake Moody. A very frustrating loss, a game that the Commanders so could have won, but not a game that they necessarily deserved to win. Now, I'm not a big fan of the whole deserve to win, deserve to lose conversation. Deserving ain't got nothing to do with it, man. But this was a highly flawed performance by the Commanders. To whatever extent a team can deserve to win, they did not. The good news is that the Commanders at 3-3 are just a game out of first place in the NFC East and are the only team in the division with a positive point differential, plus 32. But the inconsistency with this team is tough to take, right? I mean, that the team has gone win-loss, win-loss, win-loss is the perfect encapsulation of the team so far this season. Hello and welcome to this Tuesday installment of the Al Galdi podcast. Coming up on the show, in-depth reaction to and analysis of the Commanders' loss to the Bears on Monday Night Football, what was the first game in a stretch of 4 night games in 7 games for our team. I do not like when our team plays at night. I hate waiting all day for the team to play, but we have a lot of night games for the Commanders this season. Next segment, a breakdown of the 3 biggest reasons for this loss to the Bears. The following segment, why I actually think that quarterback Jayden Daniels played well in the game. Not great, but well. And the segment after that, analysis of special teams in the game as special teams loom large. Before we get to some feedback, a Goldilocks pick for you. Goldilocks, my college football picks for the FBS teams of the Mid-Atlantic region. Liberty, home to New Mexico State, Tuesday night at 7. The consensus line per Action Network for this game as of early Tuesday morning was Liberty minus 10. The public is heavily on Liberty. Give me New Mexico State. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me, the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. Lots of feedback on the Commanders' loss to the Bears from Tom Mirabella on X. Writes Tom, such a wasted opportunity. Thank you for that, Tom. Yes, this was a wasted opportunity. From Brian on X. Writes Brian, both teams kept trying to give away the game. Thank you for that, Brian. Yeah, this was a game that neither team seemingly wanted to win. From Jeremy Stein on X. Writes Jeremy, it's panic time. The Commanders should have won, and now they are 2 losses away from being non-playoff bound. The NFC is too good this year. Thank you for that, Jeremy. Well, I would not say that it is panic time. I mean, the Commanders are 3-3 and a game out of first in the NFC East. That's not cause for panic, but I get where Jeremy's coming from. From Mike on X. Writes Mike, poor showing at home and injuries are a bigger and bigger problem. Thank you for that, Mike. You know, man, it is time for the Commanders receivers who have been out to be back. 2 of the team's top 3 receivers, right? Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown. McLaurin on Monday night, inactive for a 3rd consecutive game due to his quadriceps injury. Brown on Monday night, inactive for a 4th consecutive game due to groin and knee injuries. It is time for these guys to be back. From Scott Welch on X, writes Scott, the defense is dreadful. Thank you for that, Scott. From T. Kennedy on X, writes T. Kennedy, this D is epically bad. Thank you for that, T. Kennedy. The defense on Monday night, not good. From The Last of the Fallen on X, writes The Last of the Fallen, Galdi, this is not a good team. The team makes way too many mistakes. The defense looks out of place, doesn't create turnovers, and repeatedly misses tackles. Witt is terrible. Ron and Del Rio would be getting ripped for this defense. Thank you for that, Last of the Fallen. Well, Commanders defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. is getting ripped for this defense. From Steve Bekroski on X, right, Steve? Just not a good football team right now. Thank you for that, Steve. I would say that the Commanders are an injured and inconsistent football team right now. But you know what? Call the team whatever you want. This loss on Monday night, highly disappointing. Whatever your dermatological needs may be, contact the great Dr. George Verghese. He is a board-certified dermatologist and Mohs surgeon, and operating under his direction is the Mid-Atlantic Skin Surgery Institute of Maryland, which has locations in Waldorf, Maryland, Leonardtown, Maryland, and Lexington Park, Maryland. Whatever your dermatological needs may be, call 301-396-3401 or visit midatlanticskin.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. The Mid-Atlantic Skin Surgery Institute of Maryland focuses on medical skin care, cosmetic procedures, and skin cancer diagnosis and comprehensive care. Dr. Verghese and the Institute offer free skin cancer screenings to anyone considered a new patient. And Dr. Verghese and the Institute offer advanced treatments for skin cancer, including painless and scarless skin cancer treatment. Also, if you're dealing with allergic reactions, if you're dealing with acne, psoriasis, or eczema, if you're interested in procedures like Botox, laser hair removal, or chemical peels, call 301-396-3401 or visit midatlanticskin.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. That's 301-396-3401 or midatlanticskin.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. For excellent and comprehensive skin care, contact Dr. George Verghese and the Mid-Atlantic Skin Surgery Institute of Maryland, and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. Hey, please consider subscribing to the podcast if you're not already doing that. Subscribing to the podcast costs nothing. Make sure that you never miss an episode and helps out the podcast a lot. And if you're already subscribing, thank you. What is up with these slow starts for the Washington Commanders? They in this 25-24 walk-off loss to the Chicago Bears at Northwest Stadium on Monday Night Football got off to yet another slow start. We're down 13-0 in the second quarter. Overcame that deficit, but lost on a walk-off 38-yard field goal by kicker Jake Moody. But the slow starts have got to stop. The Commanders in the NFL's 2025 regular season now have a first quarter point differential of minus 22. This was Commanders head coach Dan Quinn during the opening statement of his post-game press conference late night on Monday night.
First thing I thought, don't like it as the start. We've continued that slow start, and we've become way too accustomed of digging ourselves out of holes. 2 early turnovers, 1 late. All 3 phases dug the hole, and all 3 phases helped get out. But we didn't create enough takeaways to finish -3. You really don't deserve to win many games when you're, in that space. So had chances for interceptions, had chances to get some, did not create any. Honestly, just didn't perform well enough. Run game both sides. So a lot that needs our attention, and get right back to it as we, get going right against the division opponent next week. But this one stings. And you have a chance even to dig yourself out and go battle for it and not get that job done. But like I said, you gotta create them also to finish in the plus. So.
Yes, you do. And we later, during the Dan Quinn post-game press conference late night on Monday night, had this exchange between Commanders insider Tom Schad of the Washington Post and Quinn.
The slow starts, you've had some kind of on the road. How concerning is it to have one at home? And I know we've asked you this before, but what can you do to kind of address that?
Yeah, it was on the road, and we did, continue with that when I talked about it previously. Going into it on the field goals, that's not the worst thing, but to have a turnover and get knocked out that way, I think that caused us to give up some points. So quite honestly, I think just the ball and the turnover margin, that's a big deal for us. We've got to create them to get into the plus, and so for us to 2 of them in the first half and 1 there at the end, that's not the recipe we're gonna want.
No, it's not. The 3-3 Commanders are at the 2-3-1 Dallas Cowboys this Sunday afternoon at 4:25. But regarding this loss to the Bears, there to me are 3 big reasons for why the Commanders lost this game. Number 1, the Commanders lost the turnover battle 3-0. Number 2, the Commanders' defense was not good, especially against the run. And number 3, the Commanders' rushing offense was not good. that the Commanders, in a game in which they lost the turnover battle 3-0, lost by just 1 point, actually is pretty remarkable. But these 3 turnovers were brutal, and 2 of them were by the QB1, Jayden Daniels. He threw an interception and had 2 fumbles, including a lost fumble. 2nd and 5 for the Commanders at the Bears 21 with 6:17 left in the first quarter. Daniels fired a shotgun play-action pass intended for receiver Deebo Samuel Sr. in the end zone, but the pass was intercepted by defensive back Jaquan Brisker at the Bears 2 and returned 32 yards. Daniels was late on the throw. He actually made the tackle on the play, but that was a bad pick by Daniels. As best as we can tell, that pick was on him. Here was Jayden Daniels during his postgame press conference late night on Monday night on the interception.
Being aggressive, just go through my keys. But like I said, I didn't play how I hold myself to and how I should play, so I'll be better.
All right, 3rd and 1 for the Commanders at the Bears 40 with 3:10 left in the fourth quarter, and the Commanders nursing a 24-22 lead. Daniels had a lost fumble on a botched pistol handoff to running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. The ball slipped out of the hands of Daniels. He never quite had the ball, and the ball never was possessed by Krosky-Merritt. The fumble was recovered by defensive back Nashawn Wright. An unfortunate play. I mean, the rainy conditions clearly were a factor, but another bad play by Daniels. Also, with Jayden Daniels in this game was another fumble. 1st and 10 for the Commanders at the Bears 22 with 10:14 left in the second quarter. Daniels, while scrambling out of the shotgun, had a fumble that he did recover. The play went down as a sack for a fumble that he recovered. You take out the turnovers, and Jayden Daniels, to me, outplayed Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, but when you factor in the turnovers, it is a bit difficult to make that case. Caleb Williams did not commit any turnovers. The Commanders' defense in this game, 0 takeaways. But regarding Jayden Daniels, so we, during Dan Quinn's postgame press conference late night on Monday night, had this exchange between WUSA 9 sports anchor Chick Hernandez and Quinn, and then you hear a follow-up exchange between David Aldridge of The Athletic and Quinn.
So close, you had the ball in your possession, and kind of uncharacteristic for your quarterback to lose the ball. What do you tell him after a game like this?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't just that play. There's plenty in there to go, and we just didn't regard it like we can, and so that's the lesson, and it stings, and we've got to grow from them, man. Like, we just have to make sure we're taking our spaces to go. Definitely a play he'd want back. Man, he's like, incredible player who makes plays, and so it sucks. But like in his space, like, he's gonna make way more than he isn't. But tonight, that one stings.
Dan, I know you haven't looked at the film yet, but was that a bad exchange? Were Bill's hands not in the right place? I mean, or was that more?
Yeah, I think when I go back to watch, and I'll have a better answer for you tomorrow. I think it was Jayden on the keep. So that's what he told me coming off. That's like him to take responsibility, even if it wasn't. So I'll have a better answer, but that's what my viewpoint. But I haven't seen it yet, Dave. But that's my viewpoint of it.
And Jayden Daniels, to his credit, did take responsibility for the lost fumble. Here he was during his postgame press conference late night on Monday night.
I just lost the ball. Completely my fault. Didn't give Bill a chance, so it was my fault.
And good for Jayden Daniels for saying that. We later, during his postgame press conference late night on Monday night, had this exchange between Commanders insider John Keim of ESPN and Daniels.
On the exchange, was it the ball slick? Did that impact that play at all?
I'm not going to sit up here and blame it on the elements. I mean, at the end of the day, I got to focus. I get paid to go out there and focus playing the play out, and I had a lack of focus right there, and it cost us the game.
All right, so Jayden Daniels saying what he should say during his postgame press conference late night on Monday night. I actually don't think that Jayden Daniels had a bad game. More on that next segment, but him having an interception and 2 fumbles, including a lost fumble, not good. Also not good, running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt with a lost fumble for a second consecutive game. As much as we all love Bill, Bill has got to do a better job of holding on to the football. Bill in this game, 17 carries for 61 yards and a lost fumble, 1 reception for 7 yards on 1 target. First and 10 for the Commanders at their 35 with 2:13 left in the first quarter. Krosky Merritt had a lost fumble on a shotgun handoff run for -2 yards. The fumble was forced by Bears edge defender and former Washington edge defender Montez Sweat, was recovered by Bears defensive back Kyler Gordon, and the ensuing Bears offensive drive resulted in quarterback Caleb Williams' 2nd and goal, 1-yard shotgun touchdown run with 14:18 left in the second quarter. Now to the Commanders' defense. So the Commanders in this regular season have gone win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. The team's defense in this regular season, not so coincidentally, has gone good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, right? The volatile, unpredictable, Jekyll and Hyde nature of this Commanders defense continues, but the defense in this game was not good. The Commanders allowed the Bears to average 6.46 yards per play, way too high of a yards per play allowed. The Commanders held Caleb Williams to just 17 for 29 passing, but he threw for 252 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. He had a yards per pass attempt of 8.69 and a yards per completion of 14.82. Those rate stats way too high, and helping the yards per pass attempt and yards per completion was his touchdown pass. On a 3rd and 4 for the Bears at their 45, the Commanders gave up a 55-yard touchdown reception by running back DeAndre Swift with 10:26 left in the fourth quarter. Swift generated 50 yards after the catch as safety Quan Martin had a terrible missed tackle near the left sideline, and Swift then ran away from cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. Just a terrible moment for the defense, as once again, bad tackling was a factor. And then there was the Commanders' run defense. The Commanders allowed Bears running back DeAndre Swift to have 14 carries for 108 yards. He had a yards per carry of 7.71. The Commanders' run defense in this regular season had been good, and the Bears' rushing offense in this regular season had been really bad. The Bears in this regular season through Week 5 were number 31 out of 32 NFL teams in expected points added per play, EPA per play, on called running plays per RBSDM.com, and yet the Commanders in this game got run over by DeAndre Swift. Interior defensive lineman Eddie Goldman was inactive due to illness. That was unfortunate. He has played well this season, but I mean, come on. Being without Eddie Goldman isn't an excuse for your run defense to fall on its face, as was the case in this game. The run defense really got embarrassed in this game, given how bad the Bears' rushing offense had been. We, during Dan Quinn's postgame press conference late night on Monday night, had this exchange between David Aldridge and Quinn.
Defensively, besides the lack of turnovers, there was, again, tackling issues. And I know it was a wet field, but it was a wet field for them too.
Yeah.
So just wondering what you saw out there.
Yeah, and going in, I thought, could we play, better on 3rd down and have some space? I thought we did that one, but just in the run game wasn't strong enough, in my opinion. And on the long one, obviously missed a tackle on the blitz, so that one stings. But again, I just didn't think we played well enough in any of the phases. Dug ourselves out of a hole, dug ourselves into it first, but we got a lot to clean up. Give them credit too. I thought they came in and made the plays, but you don't usually even have a chance to win at some of those on -3.
Yeah, and the Commanders' bad defense was a significant topic during the Dan Quinn postgame press conference late night on Monday night. We had this back and forth between John Keim and Quinn.
What is the level of concern with the defense? They've big plays each game. What is that level of concern moving forward?
Yeah, I just wanted to be more physical, honestly, tonight. In the run game, I didn't love how that looked. I thought we had a chance to get, up on top, for an interception, but, the run game wasn't up to the standard of the team, in my opinion, John.
Wasn't it more physical, do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to look at it and give you an answer on that tomorrow. I just, look down overall to, extend some drive to go. That's a big deal to me.
So the Commanders' run defense really bad on Monday night. And on the flip side of that, the Commanders' rushing offense, which had been elite That fell on its face, despite going against the Bears' run defense that had been atrocious. The Commanders in the 2025 regular season through Week 5 were number 1 in the NFL in yards per carry, 5.88. The Bears in the 2025 regular season through Week 5 were dead last in the NFL in yards allowed per carry, 6.15. A more favorable matchup for the Commanders' rushing offense you could not have asked for. And yet, Commanders' skill position players who had carries in this game, running backs Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Jeremy McNichols, and receivers Deebo Samuel Sr. and Jalen Lane, they combined for 21 carries for just 72 yards and a lost fumble. That works out to a yards per carry of just 3.43. You know, we on Monday's show, episode 1175, talked a good bit about this game featuring these two lopsided matchups via the Commanders' rushing offense and run defense having been really good and the Bears' rushing offense and run defense having been really bad. But I did mention the necessary caveat, and that caveat was the NFL, right? Anything can happen week-to-week league, and sure enough, that phenomenon played out in a big way in this game. During Dan Quinn's post-game press conference late night on Monday night, had this back and forth between Commanders insider Nikki Javala of The Athletic and Quinn.
Dan, you mentioned the run game wasn't working as well
Both
as it has.
sides, yeah.
Yep. What did you take away from that? What did you think was missing there?
Yeah, I'll have a better answer for that tomorrow, Nikki, when we go through it. Specifically to why. We didn't get the big explosive run, that we normally get. Obviously, when you turn it over, you don't get as many cracks at it either. But I'll have a better answer as I go through it. Just I thought we'd have some more shots to move them in the run game.
And just with Ja'Cory, at least one fumble in each of the last two. Just
Yep.
what do you say to him in those situations? And just being young, do you have to worry about his confidence or anything like that?
Not the confidence. Most of the time, I just want to get what was the cause? What's the lesson that you learn? Are you fighting for extra? Was it high and tight? If somebody makes a fantastic play on you, I'll give them credit. But if there's a space where it wasn't secure enough that you clamp it into the traffic, those are the lessons, Nikki, that we got to get right. He's a hell of a competitor. He takes it hard. So it's not the confidence side, but I want to make sure if there's a technique error that we can see it. It didn't feel like there was a huge punch that took place, but I'll dig in for sure and find it.
Yeah, the fumbling by Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the fumbling by our guy Bill has got to stop. Catering by Uptown. It provides catering to perfection, whatever event you're planning, especially a wedding. Visit cateringbyuptown.com, mention that Al Galdi sent you, and see what Catering by Uptown can do for you. If you are planning a wedding and you're searching for answers, searching for direction, searching for guidance, visit cateringbyuptown.com. Mention that Al Galdi sent you, see what Catering by Uptown can do for you. Catering by Uptown provides both great service and a great price. Catering by Uptown is a family business. It is run by the Pereiras, so they are great Commanders fans, loyal supporters of this podcast. Catering by Uptown specializes in handling everything so that you don't have to. Catering by Uptown understands that special events deserve to be celebrated in style and thus takes care of every detail so that you can enjoy your event. Great service, amazing cuisine, and reliability are the foundation of what makes Catering by Uptown one of the most referred caterers throughout Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Northern Virginia. And know this, if you go to cateringbyuptown.com and click on venues, you could set up your own personal tour of one of Catering by Uptown's premier venues, including outstanding waterfront venues. Catering by Uptown offers the ability to coordinate services at over 100 of the best reception halls, vineyards, farms, historic homes, event venues, banquet facilities, and wedding venues in the area. Visit cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. That's cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. So we last segment went through the biggest reasons for the Washington Commanders' 25-24 walk-off loss to the Chicago Bears at Northwest Stadium on Monday Night Football. What I want to do this segment is focus on the performance of quarterback Jayden Daniels. He had the interception and 2 fumbles, including a lost fumble. He also committed a 10-yard intentional grounding penalty. This was not his best game, but I did not think that he had a bad game. And his total QBR per ESPN for this game speaks to that, 69.6. That's good. QBR is on a scale of 0 to 100. Daniels was the Commander's starting quarterback in what was his second game back from his 2-game absence caused by a left knee injury. He, for a second consecutive game, wore a brace on the left knee. He completed 19 of his 26 pass attempts. That works out to a completion percentage of 73.08. That's excellent, especially considering the rainy conditions. I loved his accuracy on the big completion to receiver Jalen Lane, 2nd and 6 for the Commanders at the Bears' 44 with 12:44 left in the fourth quarter. Daniels had a 37-yard shotgun completion to Lane on a deep ball on which Daniels hit Lane perfectly in stride. Lane made a double move to get by defensive back Tyreek Stevenson. Daniels threw for 211 yards. He had a yards per pass attempt of 8.12 and a yards per completion of 11.11. Those stats are good. Daniels had 3 touchdown passes on a 2nd and 10 for the Commanders at the Bears' 22. Daniels had a 22-yard shotgun touchdown pass to receiver Chris Moore with 9:28 left in the second quarter. Daniels beat the blitz. Moore in the end zone made a terrific leaping and spinning catch. Also on the play was running back Jeremy McNichols in blitz pickup, making a nice block on linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who went to Virginia Tech. 2nd and 9 for the Commanders at the Bears' 33. Daniels had a 33-yard shotgun play action touchdown pass to receiver Luke McCaffrey with 2:56 left in the third quarter. Now, McCaffrey was very wide open due to a blown coverage, so that was an easy pitch and catch. And on a 2nd and goal for the Commanders at the 6, Daniels had a 6-yard shotgun touchdown pass to tight end Zach Ertz with 11:27 left in the fourth quarter. Daniels fired a bullet to Ertz in the back of the end zone, and Ertz made a diving catch. Ertz had a nice game, 6 receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown on 6 targets. Daniels quarterbacked the Commanders offense that went 3 for 8 on third downs and 1 for 1 on fourth downs. 3 for 8 on third downs is so-so, but that fourth down completion was big. 4th and 2 for the Commanders at the Bears' 47 with 4:30 left in the third quarter. Daniels had a 13-yard shotgun completion to Jeremy McNichols, and Daniels was impactful as a runner. He had 10 carries for 52 yards. Now, his design/option runs continue to not do much, and this is becoming a problem. His design/option runs have been pretty ineffective so far this season. Some of this is him not reading the options correctly. In other words, keeping the ball when he should be handing the ball off and vice versa. But Daniels' scrambles have been really good and were in this game. 2nd and 10 for the Commanders at the Bears' 44 with 13:39 left in the third quarter. Daniels had a 15-yard shotgun play action scramble on which he got out of bounds. Daniels evaded 2 Bears in the backfield. 1st and 10 for the Commanders at their 27 with 6:40 left in the third quarter. Daniels had an 18-yard shotgun play action scramble on which he got out of bounds. Daniels on the run forced 2 missed tackles by the Bears. And 2nd and 9 for the Commanders at the Bears' 48 with 3:14 left in the fourth quarter. Daniels had an 8-yard shotgun play action scramble on which he generated a missed tackle by a Bears edge defender and former Washington edge defender Montez Sweat, who was in the backfield and had blown up the play. Sweat had blown up the play, and yet Daniels turned that play into an 8-yard gain. I hate that the Commanders lost this game, but Jayden Daniels, to me, did not have a bad game, even with his 2 turnovers. He overall played well. Not his best game, but he was more good than bad. More now on the Washington Commanders' 25-24 walk-off loss to the Chicago Bears at Northwest Stadium on Monday Night Football. Let's talk special teams. How about what went down for the Bears at kicker in this game? Their number 1 kicker, Cairo Santos, he for this game was inactive due to a right thigh injury. The Bears on Monday afternoon announced having elevated kicker Jake Moody from the practice squad for this game, and he ended up doing quite well. 4 for 5 on field goals. He connected on a walk-off 38-yard field goal, also connected on field goals of 47, 48, and 41 yards. Now, the Commanders did block a field goal attempt, and that in the moment was a huge play. 4th and 6 for the Bears at the Commanders' 30 on the first snap of the fourth quarter. Interior defensive lineman Daron Payne blocked a 48-yard field goal attempt by Moody to maintain a 17-16 lead for the Commanders. Had they won, we would have looked back on that block as one of the plays of the game. Instead, the block ends up being a mere footnote. As for the Commanders kicker, Matt Gay, he went 1 for 2 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points. 4th and 7 for the Commanders at the Bears' 32 with 1:14 left in the second quarter. Gay missed a 50-yard field goal attempt. The ball went off the left upright, doinked off the left upright. The missnapped a streak of 8 consecutive made field goal attempts by Gay, dropped him to just 6 for 15 on regular season field goal attempts of at least 50 yards since the start of the 2024 regular season, but he connected on a 53-yard field goal with 11:59 left in the third quarter. I tell you, Matt Gay does just enough to keep his job, but not enough to make you feel great about him as the team's kicker. But it would be kind of silly at this point to say cut Matt Gay in the coming days, given that he in recent games overall has done well, and he in this game, while he did miss the 50-yard try, did make a 53-yard field goal. Commanders punter Tress Way, he had just one punt, but it was a clutch punt. 4th and 10 for the Commanders at the Bears' 39 with 8:04 left in the fourth quarter. Way had a 30-yard punt that was fair caught by receiver and punt returner Devin Duvernay at the Bears' 9. This is why you can't just evaluate punters on yards per punt. This was a 30-yard punt, but this was a very successful punt given the field position, and that was Tress Way's only punt of the game. Receiver Jalen Lane was the Commanders' primary punt returner. He had just one punt return. It was a good one, a 9-yard return in the fourth quarter. And receiver Luke McCaffrey, again, was the Commanders' primary kickoff returner, as the team has had Deebo Samuel Sr. as its number one receiver with Terry McLaurin out, and so has kept Deebo off of kickoff returns. But McCaffrey continues to do so well on kickoff returns. He in this game had 4 kickoff returns, averaged 31.75 yards per kickoff return. He had a 36-yard return of the second half opening kickoff. He had a 37-yard kickoff return in the fourth quarter. And he, as a receiver, had 1 reception for 33 yards and a touchdown on 1 target. And he drew a 5-yard illegal contact penalty. Luke McCaffrey making an impact in this his second NFL season. And that'll do it for you and me for now. Keep the feedback coming. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. Wednesday's show, episode 1177, will include a lot for you on the Washington Commanders, as we on Tuesday have the day after the game press conference of head coach Dan Quinn. Also on Wednesday's show, I'll discuss the Washington Capitals. The Caps are home to the Tampa Bay Lightning Tuesday night at 7. And on Wednesday's show, we'll discuss Liberty football. The Flames are home to New Mexico State Tuesday night at 7. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
On the exchange, was it the ball slick? Did that impact that play at all?
I'm not going to sit up here and blame it on the elements. I mean, at the end of the day, I got to focus. I get paid to go out there and focus playing to play out, and I had a lack of focus right there, and it cost us the game.